specialist. AMC Javelin. Good luck finding one of those. Cadillac Meat Wagon. It's a curbside model. Liberator. So expensive. Superbird. Plymouth Superbird. Oh, that's nice. Richard Petty. Johann. $80! Better be made out of solid gold. 75. 85. Take my money. Who is that? Well, thank you.
Thank you for your purchase.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that little intro we made. Now, I'm sure you're wondering what all this is about, and I'm excited, can't you tell? Today, I got in the mail one of my Holy Grail models that I've been looking for a very long time, in my opinion, at least a very long time. And I'm really excited about it. I'm sure you can waver what it is by the introduction. But before I show you the kit, let's talk about it a little bit. So, as I've stated in other videos, I'm a NASCAR fan. And when I was a little kid, one of my favorite movies was the Cars movie. And in that movie, one of the characters is the King, and it's a Plymouth Superbird, and it's Richard Petty, basically. It was voiced by Richard Petty, and it was Richard Petty's Plymouth Superbird. So with that childhood background, I've just been infatuated with Lee Petty Enterprises, Richard Petty Racing, and I've always been a fan of those wing cars, the Dodge Charger Daytona and the Plymouth Superbird, which there are differences. I know there are differences between the two cars, and there are numerous internet articles and YouTube videos about the differences between the cars. And so with that background in mind, I've got the kit right here. This is the model. This is the Johann 1:25 scale Richard Petty Plymouth Superbird race car kit. This is a 2-in-1 kit. You can build it stock or as a race car. So let's go ahead and let's head over to this desk over here and let's take a look at what's inside this model. Alright, so here's the model. As you can see, this is the 4th boxing of this model, best I can count. The first one was a Petty car, and it had kind of like this psychedelic box art going on with it, kind of cartoonish. The next two were Sox and Martin cars, and you can see this is a Petty car. So here's the front of the box. We have a picture of the Petty Enterprises 43. The box is a little little worse for wear, but that's okay. It's an old model. Superbird by Plymouth. You can see it's a stocker race. You can build 2 versions, and this is a Johann model. So moving on to the end cap. Same picture. Here's your model number. It's GC-1470. The old number for this mold was 1970-200. So this was a $2 kit in 1970. Here we go to the next side. Here you can see the number 40 Petty car. This is a Pete Hamilton car. Pete Hamilton won the Daytona 500 and the race at Talladega in this car in 1970. And you can see it's the number 40. You can see it has red accents, and there's a red 7-Up logo on the rear quarter panel. Really attractive car with the, well, it's not really red. It's orange, STP orange, isn't it? Really attractive car though with the accents over than the standard all blue 43 car. Here you can see it says build the winningest stalker on oval track Grand National Tour circuit. So this was a pretty dominant car. This and the Dodge were pretty prominent race cars when they premiered in 1970. Richard Petty had 18 wins in this car before, NASCAR kind of killed it. At first, they were not going to let him allow to run at all, the wing cars. But then they were going to let him run, but they had to go with smaller displacement than any other non-wing cars. And really, that just killed whatever speed advantage or aerodynamic advantage they would have had. This car, the Plymouth and the Dodges, they were the first cars to break 200 in NASCAR. So that really gives them a unique aspect. Here's the other edge of the box, same as the opposite side, same picture as on the front of the box. And here's the final fourth panel of the box. Here you can see it's got a rear quarter view of a white stock Superbird. It says you could build a hot stock Superbird. Here, it glares a little bad. But it says the rapid transit system. Plymouth makes it. And that was a marketing scheme by Plymouth. And they called their, I think it was their 70 lineup, the rapid transit system. Which, in all honesty, sounds like a railroad or a subway system. Really, at first hearing about it, it doesn't make me think of speed. It sounds like a subway system. Finally, here you can see it's a Johann Models, 17255 Moran Avenue, Detroit, Michigan, 48212. Of course, officially, Johann Models is not in business anymore. But there is a man who owns the molds, a lot of the molds for the Johann Models. His name is Oki Spalding, and he has an email. And you can order Johann Models from Mr. Spalding through his email. So while they're not, you don't go to the model store and see them on the shelves, there are still ways to get Johann Models. With that being said, this is the very first Johann model I've ever owned, and the first one I've actually ever seen in person. I've never seen one before, never held one before. So this is pretty exciting for me. Not only is it the Petty car, but it's a Johann model. And if you want a company history about Johann Models, look up Max's Models. Johann basically is what you would search. Max's Models is one of my favorite YouTube channels, if not my most favorite. Simply because he's a good guy, and the community that's at that channel is a great group of people. I mean, really, all over the world. I'm recording this on Saturday, the 20th. So tonight we'll be having our live stream on Max's Models at, I think, 6 o'clock Central. But that's enough of me rambling. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's inside this box. So, like I said, I actually, no joke, I just got this model today. Came in the mail. It actually came in a box marked Auto World Store, which I thought was hilarious. Because at first I saw it, and I was like, Auto World? I didn't order anything from Auto World. And I opened it up, and lo and behold, this kit was in there. So, and whoever packed it did a wonderful job. Lots of bubble wrap. Starting out strong, here's your Roadrunner body. Let me unwrap it here. Here's your Roadrunner body. Very crisp molding. There's your mold seam right there. And I actually don't see anywhere else. I mean, it's on the other side, but I don't see where else it goes. Interesting. Crisp molding from 1970. There's the back. It says Plymouth. I don't know if you can read it. Probably not. Well, there it is. Plymouth. And there's your taillight housings. Very thin door handles, I will say. They're not really thick. Yeah. Here's your engine bay. Of course, the chassis and the glass is going to fall out. Here's your glass. There's some micro scratches. But honestly, it's in great condition. Interior tub. Pretty plain. They have to keep it plain. You got the door panels molded to the side. Pedals are molded to the floor. They have to keep it plain so it's not, so you're able to build two, I suppose. Here's a chassis and kind of the floor pan all in one. Now Johan models, as far as what I've been told, they were notorious for using, all-in-one chassis with your axle and your exhausts and your drive shaft and whatnot molded in. Which, I mean, look, it's fine. That's fine with me. I don't care. Looks nice. One thing that irks me the most about model cars in particular, and I build all models, but model cars especially, the one thing that irks me the most is trying to get the chassis geometry correct. Because if you're just one little thing off, it's going to not sit correctly. So this actually helps a lot. And sure, you can say, oh, it's not as detailed, but I mean, who's really looking at the bottom of your model car anyway, right? There's some flash on this, which, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with flash. It comes right off. People who complain about it need to learn how to hold a knife and stand up to pee. Moving on, here's tires. And they say, can you see it? Yep. Goodyear. They say something else, but I can't read it. And there's actually 2 sets of tires. Well, not really. 1 set of tires. They're just molded in halves. You have to put them together. And there's the fourth one. Next up we have a chrome. In all honesty, for the age of this kit, 1970 was, let's see, 54 years ago. This chrome is perfectly fine. I mean, I just got a brand new model kit that I'm building right now, the MPC Toyota Supra. And this chrome looks the same, and if not better than that one. So kudos to who has ever stored this and kept it. And thank you for allowing me to purchase it. More bubble wrap. There's a little individual bag. It looks like you got the rear light lenses and side windows, actually. Never seen that before. Side windows in a model car. Now, I assume this is not how the kit would have originally come, but, you know, after 50 years and 50 years worth of life, I'm sure some things got broken off the trees and you know, that's about to come off. That rear seat. Here's your seats. Front bucket seats, rear bench seat. There's the seat backs. Here's the axles. So this has solid axles. You know, one will pass through the engine. The other one will pass through the rear axle housing and your firewall. Now, if you notice anything about this model, it's in white. Well, it's not really white. It's kind of cream. But it being in white actually makes it rarer. I won't say more valuable because I don't know, but it makes it rarer than the blue ones. If you'll notice during the intro, all those that were listed on eBay, they were molded in kind of like a pale blue, bright blue, and this one is actually in white, which is different. Makes it easier to paint in the end because you don't have to cover up the blue. Here's some of the race car parts here. You can get some long tube headers and what looks like carburetors. I'm not sure. This is the wing support, one of them. Here's the top of the wing, and here's the nose. That's Superbird nose. Actually, I was looking at this earlier because I have kind of been through this, and it actually fits on there very nicely. And if you're building a model of a Superbird, make sure there's a seam. You can see on this picture even there's a seam between the nose and the Roadrunner body. It's not a seamless thing. I don't even know. No, you can't see the nose on this one, but I bet there's a seam there too. But I know at least on the petty cars there's a seam. And it shows a seam on the Pete Hamilton car too. So don't worry about getting that a perfect blended together smooth. Just worried about getting the seam even all the way around the nose. Here is the hood and what I assume is the front air dam. The big NASCAR fuel tank. Here's your NASCAR rims. Nice that those are molded in regular plastic so you don't have to worry about trying to strip off chrome or cover up the chrome paint. That looks like a firewall, which is weird because I know there's a firewall in this model already, so I'll have to look at that. Steering wheel, retaining rings to hold the body down to the chassis. Here's the pins. Here's your battery and your fan, your radiator, and your air cleaner. Here's a chrome wheel. Uh-oh. Dropped a piece. So, here is your engine halves. Here's your intake, your pulleys, your front of your engine, and your oil pan. Here's your cylinders. And you can actually see the cylinders in there. That's really neat. These are your axle blocks. And seat belts. Roll cage and other stuff for the race car. And there's some auxiliary parts in the bottom here. There's another steering wheel. Looks like race car dashboard maybe. Focus. No, that's not going to, but there's gauges on there you can see. There it goes. Another chrome wheel. Yep. There's a second wing support. Headers. I'm not sure if those are the stock or the race car versions. We will see. Wheel backs. And what looks to be a blanking plate for the rear lights for the race car version, I would assume. The part I dropped was another wheel back, so. Finally, we get down to the bottom of the box. And there's the instructions. And typical of the era. Look at those in a minute. Typical of the era, lots of reading. Not very good at international sales. One of the reasons you see models now, they're all picture oriented. If you buy a new model, Trumpet or Revell or AMT or any company, they're going to be mostly picture oriented. And that's so they can sell them internationally and not have to pay for the translation. And also, you'll notice that there will be multinational languages on instructions nowadays. So a lot of times you have to search for the English. But here you can see it's just giving you basic good modeling tips about scraping chrome. Cement will not hold two-plated surfaces. Just like AMT, this is follow the numbers. So, I mean, unless you can't count, you really can't get it out of order. Start off by the block, and it's going to be orange. And you move through the numbers. So that second set of headers were the race car headers, and here's the stock manifolds. Race interior. Put your roll bars in. Your race dash. And your seat. Then you move on to the race chassis. So everything that's race is on top of whatever is stock. Putting your battery in, your axles, your exhaust dumps, and your wheels and tires together. And then here's a couple steps that are for both. Front body assembly, putting your grill in your nose. There's your front air dam and your stock air dam. And that's the radiator wall. That part I didn't know about was a firewall. There's the firewall there. Putting in your windows. Here's your rear body assembly, stabilizer supports, tail light cover for the race, like I said, and your rear bumper. And here's your race final assembly. Putting your body or your interior tub onto your floor pan, some hoses, and fuel tank shield. That's pretty nice. And here you can see the assembly pins and the lock rings. And then here it's got some basic more modeling tips. And it tells you what paints you want to use. Oh, you can't see. It tells you what paints you should use. And whether or not it's a spray bottle or spray can or just a regular bottle of paint. Which is really, really intuitive. Seems like anymore if you buy a new model, you have to guess and hope and pray that you're using the right paint. It wants testers number 8 blue, which, if I'm not mistaken, that's still in production. Flat black spray, an orange bottle of paint. If you're going to do the stock one, you can use your choice of a color in a spray can. Gloss black bottle and a silver bottle. So, 5 colors. And it'll turn out a nice model. Finally here today, here's your decals. Actually, they're in really good shape. They're not yellowed all that bad. 43 Champion spark plugs, Prestone, Union 76, Wicks air or oil filters. Here you see the Patterson Motors, which was a sponsor of the Petty Enterprises for a long time. Here you see the Lee Petty Enterprises logo. And interestingly, although it shows the Pete Hamilton car, you can see it right there, number 40, there are no decals for the Pete Hamilton car in this model. So, what you're going to have to do if you want to build that car out of this kit, and pretty much what you're going to have to do anyway to get decals, I think Powerslide has a set of decals for the Petty Enterprises Plymouth. Now, with all that out of the way, I just want to... This one will get built. Because it's not sealed, so I won't feel guilty about opening it. And it's got white plastic, so it's just kind of like begging to be built. So this one will get built, and it will be built on this YouTube channel. So I want to thank you for sticking with me. Oh, one more thing. If you want to see a better unboxing of this, because, I'm not a professional by any means, but if you want to see a better unboxing of this, Matthew Inman at Model Car Videos has one. His is blue. But Lucas C also has one, and his is also blue. So if you want to see this kit again, but in the blue, go watch either one of those videos. And I want to thank you for taking your time to watch my video. And thank you for the comments. Please leave more comments because I like reading them and I like responding to them. And whoever allowed me to buy this model, I bought it off eBay, and I know the seller's not looking, but whoever allowed me to buy this model, I just want to thank you. Because this one is I've been looking for it for a while, and they're not getting any cheaper. They're getting more rare, actually. And they're going up in price. So I got one while I could. And this one is one to check off my Holy Grail list. Now, if only I could find that AMC Javelin, we'd be set. But, might have to sell my brother to get one of those. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good afternoon. Have a good week. And we'll see you again soon.